Hi everyone, we're waiting for Katrina to join in. So I think Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Nice to see you. Very well, thank you.
Yeah, always good to see you as well. So
Likewise.
you're in Paris now, I believe.
Yes, yeah, I'm in Paris and tuning in from the sunny day here.
Oh, fantastic. We have a gloomy day here, but yeah,
Ooh.
awesome. So should we?
Yeah, I'm actually super curious to know people who are watching this now, where are you guys tuning in from?
Oh, there's possibly people tuning in from all over India.
Yeah, and maybe some international as well. So let's see, maybe they'll put some comments here, where
Yeah,
they're tuning in from.
it'd be nice to know people from all over the world. But it looks like we have quite a few people logging in.
Fantastic.
So,
Wonderful.
Katrina, always a pleasure to chat with you. You've been ahead of the game. You've been active on social media for a very long time, and now it's become even more relevant, more than ever before. So I'll just do an intro for those who don't know you. I think everyone knows you, but I'll still go ahead and introduce.
Sure.
Hi everyone. Today we have Katrina Perez with us. As most of you would know, she's an expert on jewelry and has exceptionally deep insight on the jewelry business. She's also a trained gemologist and journalist since 2011. She's written for Rob Report, VO Plus, and several other publications. Since 2013, she's started championing the work of jewelry designers and brands and artists that do phenomenal work through her Instagram handle, and she's become a phenomenon in our industry since then. Amongst other things, she's a judge at several design contests, including couture, and she's also regularly holding seminars at IGL in London.
Thank you for this lovely introduction.
Today we have her here to kind of pick her brain on something that has become extremely relevant, social media, and how we can kind of use it in these difficult times. But before I do that, I'll let Katrina say a few words, and then I have questions that have come in advance already. So I'll ask you those once you address everyone.
Super. So I guess like we'll see what questions you have, and then we'll take questions from the audience as well, right? Just want to say a few words that today I am tuning in on behalf of 4Jewelleries, which is a new platform that Preeta Agarwal, the jewelry professional who I'm sure many of you know, and we started it during these tough times because we feel that there is a lot of knowledge that we can share with the industry, and we always get asked different things separately, but that's why we join together and say, why don't we answer all these questions for everyone to learn. And so 4Jewelleries is a platform where you can get some snippets on different aspects of the industry, let it be how to grow your Instagram, or how to succeed in e-commerce, or how to take photos for your Instagram with your phone, different aspects which everyone can learn from. And it's an initiative to help the industry the way we can. Right now I think all of us can deal with a little bit of support from each other.
Awesome, thank you. All right, great. So we'll start with the first question. So Katrina, you were among the first social media influencers in the jewelry world. Tell us a little bit about how you built the Katrina Perez brand, at a time when world over people were not that excited about online promotions. I mean, it was way too early, maybe some would say.
Yeah.
But apparently not now. I mean, it seems like you were right on time. So.
Well, I started my Instagram and the website 7 years ago when no one had a clue what promotion is. And in fact, I never started it with the idea of being a world famous blogger, or I don't know, to make it my work. I started it out of passion for precious jewelry, and also because I used to work in retail. So I was working in different boutiques in London at the time. And I remember that clients only wanted to know how many carats is this diamond and how much it costs. But my point was that there is so much that contributes to the beauty of jewelry and to the price as well, like craftsmanship, like all the, sometimes, I'm sure many of you guys know that to develop an idea takes occasionally much more time than manufacturing. So these are all the aspects which contribute to the beauty and the price. And there is so much I wanted to share regarding jewelry. And this is how I started my platforms, out of passion, just to talk to everyone out there. And slowly, I realized that the following is growing, the readership is growing. And I felt that, okay, this is something that is meaningful. This is something that people respond well to. So at that time, as I said, I was working in retail, and I was using my salary to support my project, because it was always, it was all about passion, but also I had to invest into it because I've always written into languages. So I always had to, hire people to help me with different aspects. But if we talk about Instagram, honestly, when I opened the application first time, I was like, what do I do with this? Like, why do I even want to use that? And slowly, by sharing the jewelry I've seen around me, by always trying to learn and develop the way I showcase jewelry, the following started growing, the demand was there. And of course, 7 years ago, no one really knew why would someone want to write online. There were magazines out there. Why would someone want to share about jewelry on the internet? As I said, it was just something I've done by intuition, not because I felt like there is big future out there. But in fact, with time I realized, yes, that this is a great way to educate, to help with taste making, for example, because my feed is very curated. It's a great way to communicate and to showcase the beauty. For me, jewelry is a form of art, and I perceive my Instagram as a gallery of this beautiful jewelry art. So, and of course, the reason why I can now say that I'm a professional, not just in curating, but also in running Instagram. This is why I do different seminars and consultations with brands, because I've learned through so much self-education, trial and error. I regularly do different courses on Instagram trends and how Instagram works and on psychology behind it. Because in fact, when you see this social media tool, there's lots of little things which we don't realize always. I feel that very often we perceive it as a platform to showcase the jewelry, right? If we are a jewelry brand, the majority of things I can see happening is brands treating social media as a catalog, okay? Just uploading pictures of their collections, let it be the latest ones, or some existing permanent collections. But in fact, people who use Instagram, they don't necessarily come to shop, right? Because honestly, social media is here for socializing, for entertainment, for just passing the time. And sales that happen through Instagram is a bonus. Nowadays, of course, Instagram aids brands to to sell, right? Because we have opportunity to create an e-shop directly on Instagram and tie it up with e-commerce. But still, when we think about buying a piece of jewelry, do we go on Instagram first of all? No. I think, guys, I hope you guys agree with me, because, those who are watching, when you think of buying jewelry, do you open Instagram, or do you go to a boutique, to e-boutique, or, some other resource? So this is why when you think of your content, you have to really step into the shoes of a client and think, what would they want to see here? How will they get entertained? And why would they follow me? If you just upload pictures of jewelry, it's not going to be enough to spark that interest, basically.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And your feed in particular is a great combination of imagery and content. I mean, your writing and your imagery is just kind of. But that kind of answers the next question that I have for you, and I have the answer already because I work. I mean, you know, as a business owner, I've worked with you on several occasions, and it's been, you know, it's been amazing, the kind of work that you've done for us.
Fantastic.
So the question is, what is it that sets you apart from, you know, the other experts, right? There are a few, but obviously you stand out. And what do you think is your unique, unique, distinct kind of offering that sets you apart from the others? And that actually also be a clue to everyone who's watching on how they can actually do something that would then set them apart, you know, and how important it is to have that one differentiating factor.
All honesty, I never really compare myself to anybody, or we all work in very different ways, but I feel that what makes me stand out is creativity. Because for me, presenting jewelry is a very fascinating and fun process. And also because I focus on high segments, it's about quality of content that I provide. So even if I go and meet a jeweler and take photos in the boutique with my camera, it has to be a professional camera with beautiful photos which are edited and yummy to look at. But I don't limit myself just to creating content which I, for example, photograph at an exhibition or at the boutique. I want to find you an example of when I say creativity of something different. For example, to engage audience on your Instagram, you have to think of new ways of presenting jewels. So beautiful polished photos always get a good response, but you have to create content which can go viral. Viral means that it's content which gets a lot of attention in the first, say, hour, which then means that Instagram recognizes it as something interesting for the audience, and it starts showing this piece of content, this photo or video, or whatever it is, to more and more people. And it's very likely that that kind of video is going to go to recommended, you know, there's a separate section on Instagram. And this is how lots of other people who don't follow you yet, this is how they're going to discover your account. So while we're talking, I'm just going to find, I've got another phone here. I want to find that good example of creative type of content which I have. Well, okay, let's do this one, for example.
Yeah.
So you see, this is not just a standard photo. This is a series of posts which I've done to express my view on jewelry, that I'm like Alice in Wonderland, but I'm Katrina in Jewel Land. So this is a shoot which I've done with the photographers. We photographed jewelry separately and me separately, and then it was merged together in a Photoshop. Then I had this very cool series of pictures. I'll find it because it got lots of love. For example, these ones. So you see these kind of photos.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, this is not just a standard photo of a piece of jewelry, but it is about jewelry. And it got lots of love because it's something different. It's a different way to showcase jewel. Or there was... I have a very cool series of artwork coming out in a couple of weeks. So guys, stay tuned because I've tried some new things there as well. So my bottom line is that showing pretty jewelry is great, but for me personally, it's not enough. I want to experiment with it. I want to show it in a different way. I want to merge different form of art. And also my personal interest lies in 360 degrees. That's why on my Instagram, you don't see just the jewelry. You see gemstones, you see gouache. I love art of gouache. For me, it's a separate form of art. You will see different educational posts, entertainment, like, you know, let's chat about jewelry. So when I think of my feed, I think of, first of all, bringing a variety, and this is what I recommend to all the brands. You have to create content which is varied, engaging, beautifully curated, so that people can feast their eyes, but also stimulate their brains. So that's why in my captions, I try to sometimes put a caption which is more fun, like choose which color of this jewel you like. Sometimes I want it to be more deep. sometimes more education where it's really something that you can learn from. And in fact, for jewelry companies, I just want you to understand that all of you are experts in the field. So it's not just about showcasing the beauty of jewelry that you create, but also educating your client. And this is the one aspect which I often see missing from Instagram accounts from designers or gem dealers or brands. They focus a lot on their products, but they don't focus on things like creative process, gemstone education, talking about historical jewelry, even auctions, you see, because if you showcase something from auctions, it's not your competitor, it's a completely different aspect. But lots of people are curious to know if there is a huge diamond being sold at an auction, how much it's going to fetch, you know, things like this. So this is what I mean by a variety.
Our industry has many times been labeled as being a little secretive, and this is a great kind of platform for brands to kind of, like you mentioned, just, you know, educate their customer a lot more. That would give them the confidence to actually go out and buy things.
Exactly. You say it correctly, because when you understand what you're looking at, you understand better what you're buying, you're more willing to spend your money. Like, for example, very often when I was in retail, I faced the question from clients, so, okay, this is an emerald necklace, why does it cost so much? But then they don't always realize that if it's a very clean Colombian emerald, it's a benchmark for beauty, the color is very beautiful, you know, this pine, what's the name, well, this vivid green, that's why it's going to cost much more than a pale, you know, not super high quality emerald. So all of this you have to explain to the client, educate them. So when they understand these little things or very important things, they suddenly understand why prices are different, why the aesthetics of jewelry sometimes is different, right? Because when you work with an investment quality emerald, you're not going to put it on some crazy creative design which might not fit to everyone's taste and will be difficult to sell. So I feel education is a very important aspect of the jewelry business.
I think you're absolutely right. And, you know, speaking of changes in approach and changes in the way retailers kind of educate customers, since the onset of this pandemic, you know, it sounds cliched, but I've been saying since this pandemic for quite some time now. But do you see a difference in the way retailers or brands have started approaching social media? Do you see a very huge shift in their approach towards social media? Because until recently, barring maybe, you know, some of the high brands or some of the active brands globally, you know, jewelers refrained from using social media very actively. But now, have you seen a kind of noticeable change?
I will be very honest with you, okay? I haven't. The reason why is because first of all, you know, this change happened so fast that everyone is like not even sure what's happening and what to do, okay? So no one really understands the strategy, what to do now. We all talk about going online and doing things. First of all, some of you are still locked down. So even if you want to do more and be active, you can't yet, okay? Secondly, we don't know exactly what works and what doesn't. There is definitely the desire to do more, to be more active and to progress. But you see, for example, that's one of the reasons why during pandemic and still now, more often than promotion, for example, my work right now is helping brands to really develop their strategy for Instagram, because no one really understands what do we do now, what's next. So this is what I'm working a lot with different designers internationally, how you show your jewelry, how you tailor your Instagram content to make it more engaging and interesting, and what is engaging content, right? Because everyone talks about it, but what exactly is this? So I can feel that give it another few months, there will be, I think, slight changes, because honestly, the biggest change would be maybe the frequency of posts. Yeah. But otherwise, I guess also many brands will reconsider how they show jewelry, maybe the quality of their content. But otherwise, for example, Instagram hasn't offered any new tools, like, I don't know, virtual try-on jewelry. Also, of course, all of you have noticed that there was a spike in Instagram live sessions, which now is going down because there is oversaturation of information. You know, really, for example, my strategy, which I can also recommend others, not to really start bombarding, you know, people with all the content, but do quality. Okay, like for example, even with Instagram lives, as you see on my official Katrina Perez page, I don't do it 2 or 3 times a week like maybe I would have done a month ago. Now I do it once every couple of weeks, but I select important speakers, you know, like I've done recently a live with Bushiron, I've done one with Bucciolati, I've done one with Asael. So, and also when people know that
did Hammerley?
Hammerley, yeah, Hammerley was a little bit earlier, but when people know that if it's yourself, it's going to be quality. You see, my numbers haven't shifted so much, say 2 months ago or now in terms of Instagram lives, because they know if I offer a live video, it will be with someone who will bring value, basically. So my bottom line focus on quality, not on quantity.
Yeah, that, you know, we had received a question on how much is too much on social media, and I think you've kind of answered that question with, you know, with what we just said. That maybe
I think maybe sorry to interrupt you, just to give a little guidance in terms of like how much to post. For a jewelry company, I recommend to stick to the pace of between 4 or 5 posts a week. If someone has enough content to do it every day, do it every day. But maybe 2 or 3 times a week is a little bit too slow to grow your audience. So the way also Instagram works is the more often you post, the more new followers and the more, you know, activities you have on your Instagram. But at the same time, don't post like 10 times a day, you know.
Yeah, even for my own page, I'm learning that as I go along, that, you know, it's good to have a balance.
Yeah.
You know, when you obviously get a lot of jewelry offered to you for kind of posting, when do you decide, no, not this piece? Is there a time when you say, listen, no, I will not post this?
Yeah.
Pick that call.
The way that I choose jewelry to feature comes from here, you know. If I love something, I will talk about it. Also, I'm sure you noticed from my Instagram that I love design. I love precious gemstones. I love to see how a designer feeds an idea, like they have an idea which you can't touch, and then it turns into something that you can wear on your finger, on your ears. So I adore when someone has the DNA. I feel this is a great also selling point. Like, for example, when it's a company who produces something in big quantities, I'm not interested because there's no individuality there. But of course, there is a market for that kind of jewelry as well. My point, I think, here is to select, my selection doesn't depend on the size of the company or popularity of the company. It depends on quality, originality of the idea, and the materials used. I love innovation as well. So,
you know, with trade shows and conventions kind of now for the next year or so, it seems like there'll be no trade shows, there'll be no conventions, no place for people to actually, buyers to, you know, see new product, or even interact with, you know, manufacturers. What components of a marketing toolkit do you think will suffer because no trade show? So what, from a buyer's perspective, will they not be able to kind of get visibility on when they look at a manufacturer? And which of these do you think social media can be used to kind of make up for? You know what I mean? I mean, up to now, we had the opportunity to be at the Hong Kong show or Vegas or Vicenza. You know, we display our product, we have the conversation, we're able to communicate, you know, our philosophy, our strategy. Do you think social media now, or even, you know, any other platforms that are available, do you think it's possible to kind of make up for this absence of this networking platform?
Again, I'm talking honestly here, okay? I do not feel that an image, no matter how beautiful it is, if it's 3D photo, if it's a video, can ever substitute the real feel of a jewel. So it's just natural that we should expect slight slowdown in the industry because there is no exhibitions, because there's no way to touch and feel and understand how in reality the jewel is. However, saying that, I think there will be more quality in the contacts that you have. Yeah. Okay, so for example, it's important to still do some events and let it be virtual events. Or some people, after you know the lockdown is over, say in India or say in France here, the lockdown is over now. It's about having this very small boutique kind of events where you gather, I don't know, 5 people, and you have your social distancing arrangements. But it brings more value, more personalized approach. And when something is more personal, there's more likelihood of closing the sale. So I don't necessarily see the whole situation right now as a negative. It's just different dynamic. It's about being more personalized, more laser focused, more caring for certain clients. But of course, for me, like for everybody else, it's difficult to say, since there's no exhibition, how it's going to turn out. Guys, I don't know. I don't have my crystal ball to say. But business will still be happening for sure, because the industry is not going to go still. So those who mean business, they will attend the virtual exhibitions, and they'll still see what's out there. There will still be demand from boutiques and buyers, and designers won't stop creating, and gem dealers won't stop selling, just on a smaller scale. Even judging by the way it works for me now, honestly, there are probably not as big volume of people asking for promotion, but it's all quality requests, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what you're essentially actually is a very interesting twist. You're actually saying that eventually formats for exhibitions or viewings will actually become more personal, and that actually may benefit the jewelry industry in more ways than actually what was actually probably becoming a more commodity-like kind of impression of the entire industry. The events will become smaller, more curated, more personal. Mm-hmm. That's the right platform for jewelry.
You see, I'm just judging from a point of view, for example, Baselworld, okay? Yeah. Let's go Baselworld 5 years, 6 years back. Lots of people were flooding in. It was a place to meet and socialize, and not necessarily a business. It was a luxury platform to, hang out for some people. Yeah. Let's look at Basel last year or the year before, because it downsized. It was business. People who exhibited there, they said, okay, yes, the footfall is much smaller, but in fact, pretty much everyone who came to our booth, they came to do business, which is a bonus, because you don't waste your time. You have a client who is interested. This is great. So yeah. I feel that in a way it's going to transmit into online right now. So people who mean business, they'll still be active. And also, let's not forget situations where, say, Second World War, okay? Right now we're facing something, well, different but similar in the outcome, right? Because the industries are suffering, global industries are suffering, not just jewelry, but across all the different aspects. But after, when the war was finished, industries were blooming. So I'm not a person who can say it for sure, but I feel that there will be a big comeback once say 1 year, 2 years later, we have the injection to make sure that we don't get sick, and then people will feel free. Also, silly examples like pandemic, right? Okay, we were all kind of not working and getting much less income or no income at all. At the same time, we weren't spending money. We weren't going out. We weren't spending money on drinks or parties or travel or anything like that. So, for example, myself, when lockdown was finished in France, the first thing I did, I went shopping, because I wanted to, feel that I can finally, treat myself to something. I don't know if you guys can relate, everyone who is watching, if someone's watching from Europe.
The women who are watching can relate to shopping.
Exactly. So, and also one more thing which I keep on saying, which I strongly believe in, if your jewelry is very unique and different, among higher echelons, there is always demand for something special, something exclusive. And that kind of level of clients, high net worth individuals, they, regardless of hard times, they still would have money, and they would still desire to own something something valuable, something special. You know, I was watching a lot of auctions during pandemic, and in fact, you know, Christie saw that had the best online auctions during these hard times, because, you know, from the report I read, you know, there were some clients who just wanted to buy this Cartier bracelet as a pick-me-up jewel, which cost, I don't know, 200,000-300,000. You know what I mean? So it's too early to, you know, be pessimistic and think, oh my God, it's over.
You know, it's clear that this pandemic will end. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Maybe 2 or 3 months from today, or maybe 5-6 months at the worst case. But it's going to end. So there are lots of questions, obviously, about, you know, what will happen to the jewelry market after that, and you've kind of answered in your own way of what you know, what may happen, and it seems that it's all positive in the sense, at the end of this all, women will come out, they will want to celebrate, and they will want to kind of gift themselves.
No, that's for sure, because also you see all the family events, you know, weddings and birthdays and Christmases and all the celebrations carry on taking place. So again, if you offer something interesting and exclusive, people will still take interest even now. Now, the biggest thing is to let the world know you exist, right? Because having great type of jewelry is one thing, but if no one knows that you are there, it's not going to help. So that's why social media is there to help, e-commerce is there to help. A lot of work, I think, is going to be done by recommendations. Don't forget that your regular clients are your ambassadors as well. You can think of being innovative and think how you can also involve them, and maybe, I don't know, be a middle person, or do this little gathering with their friends, or, you know, it's about being creative and not limiting yourself to standard ways of selling or standard ways of communicating. So
we have a question which seems to be in most of you know, most of the conversations that we have, either on Zoom or any of the platforms. What is your perspective on lab-grown diamonds? It's a question.
You know the answer I have, okay? So there is vegetarian people and there is meat eaters. I'm a meat eater. And the same with lab-grown diamonds. I love natural stones, okay? Because for me, it's not just about the shine or the price. It's about the energy of stones. So I personally wouldn't go for a lab-grown diamond. But for others, there is those who just want a blingy thing for a more affordable price. So of course, they'll go for a lab-grown one. You know, the most important thing here is to communicate correctly on lab-grown and stop communicating lab-grown versus natural. These are two completely different things. Okay, it's the same stone, but the way it comes to life is different. And let's not forget that when you grow a diamond, it's not 100% super ecologically friendly and all that. So it just has to be disclosed. Yeah.
We have an interesting question. Can you expand on hashtags for fine jewelry? What kind of hashtags, you know, were, or maybe the whole concept of hashtagging? I guess that's the question they're asking. That how can
I think, you know, important thing to remember is not
basically how you use hashtags effectively for fine jewelry.
Yeah, so the hashtags, it's not about copy and paste. So the main thing to remember is not to use all the same hashtags over and over again. Otherwise, Instagram will consider that you're spamming. You have to think of a variety of hashtags. It doesn't have to be only related to jewelry. It can be related to whatever you're showing. If you have a butterfly ring, put butterfly jewelry, put the hashtags for gemstones that are used there, handmade, made in Italy or whatever, nature inspired, beautiful design, handmade art jewelry. I mean, there's tons. You just have to be creative. So you have to, for a brand, when you think of your hashtag strategy, put together different types of hashtags, like a selection of 3 or 4 dedicated to diamonds, a selection of a few dedicated to, say, nature, then to color, to emotion, and then mix and match. And then in your analytics, you can see, in your post, you can see the analytics, how many people came to see this post through hashtags. And that's when you can understand, you know, which ones work for you the best. And also if you use special tools, like for example, I use an app called Iconosquare. Actually, Prita, are you watching this? I don't know if Prita is watching this. Maybe she can put in comments the app I'm talking about, because it's something that we use together. It's an app which gives really deep analytics, including the hashtags, which hashtags are the most popular. So it's a good one to have and to use.
Okay.
But also, as often I get asked in terms of quantity of hashtags, don't like put 30, don't put a lot. And the good practice is mostly to put in the first comment, so then it doesn't overpower the caption. So it will be featured somewhere in comments, but at the same time, you know, it will.
So this is a question we have.
Okay.
Do you think consumers around the world are warming up to rose-cut diamonds?
Rose cuts. Yeah, for sure. You see, with rose cuts, it's very interesting because it's such a lovely cut that it's not too scintillating. So for me, I think jewelry with rose cut diamond is super cool to wear even on a daily basis. But also because of the type of cut, I can see lots of creative designs made with this with rose cuts, and this is quite interesting to see. So I don't see it in traditional jewelry, but in something artistic a lot, and I really enjoy that.
Okay. We have another question here. Are there any ways for brands to create online experiences, you know, that are meaningful and engaging in jewelry? For a jewelry brand, is there a way to create an engaging online experience that would help with their social media?
Of course.
Yeah.
Tons. That's why you have to be creative. One of the things is I find that whenever a brand showcases a little bit behind the scenes, that gets a lot of good response, because very often customers wonder how does the magic happens. Some of my popular Instagram lives were when I was offering an experience to visit someone's workshop virtually, like I've done with, for example, Palmiero Jewelry, or I've done with Stitches, where we actually broadcasted from the workshop and showed some elements of jewelry making process. That was quite interesting. Also, we need to not underestimate the power of personality, because very often I find that creative directors or designers are kind of behind the scenes. So it's a good time to you know, make them more recognized. So do maybe live Instagram with the creative director or the designer, so that followers can ask questions directly, because normally this kind of personas that perceived as unreachable, but it's a good time to maybe make them a little bit more available.
Yeah.
And as I said, interesting ways, like creative ways of presenting jewelry.
Okay, that's interesting. We have another question. How much exposure to an important piece of jewelry is good enough? Is it wise to have multiple posts? Should you be posting the same piece again and again, or you know?
Yeah, so when it comes to high jewelry, I always recommend to do more than one post, of course, because this also emphasizes the importance of the piece of jewelry. But what I want to recommend is not just to post the same picture, but you have to photograph this jewel in the making, when it's finished, maybe on a model, stilled life, white background, so you can showcase it in all different aspects, because it also emphasizes the importance. If you just post one picture of an important piece of jewelry, it just makes it one of many. That's why if you're a company that creates different levels of jewelry, when you showcase high-end, you do more than one post. You can create the whole story about it, you know, how the masterpiece was born. When it comes to everyday pieces, it can be one post, maybe one post worn. It's not a bad practice to you can use the same photo but far apart in your feed, because I understand, especially now, it's very tough to create new content. So you can repurpose some of the old posts. Also a good practice for a brand to tidy up their feed, to go back and see if some posts are a bit like, you know, it's not what looks best right now. delete it, archive it. If you don't want to delete it, if you want to keep it still, you can archive it so it doesn't show in the feed, but you can still reach it through Instagram for your own, reference. Guys, honestly, it's the best time now to review Instagram strategy, to rethink your feed, to rethink how you show jewelry, what you feature, how often you post, which tools can you use to help you with the process. Because you see, one of the reasons why brands don't put enough effort is because it's not easy. You know, social media is a full-time job, and often they don't realize the operations behind it. How can I speed up the process? How do I create this content? How do I create my content calendar? And why do I need to do it? So these kind of things I think we'll talk more about on for Jeweller's platform, and this is something which I explain in the one-to-one consultations when I do them.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's been awesome. I think some of the points that you've kind of shared through the last 45 minutes have been amazing.
I love talking about Instagram, I can be here for hours.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like you said, this is the best time. And if I can summarize, what we've discussed, that the world is not coming to an end. Business will come back eventually. It may be different, but this is the best time to be creative with your product and your platform. And you use your creativity to kind of stand out, and Instagram allows you to kind of reach out to the world with your creativity in every sense. Do a 360 degree on exactly how you want to kind of project yourself. To conclude is give us 3 kind of don'ts that people use direct messaging or Instagram to reach out also to customers. It's not only to showcase what they're doing, but also to communicate with retailers or brands. Are there any absolute no-nos in terms of etiquette? Is there social media etiquette that is very important that people abide by?
First of all, don't be impersonal. Here it's another person behind the screen. So when you send, oh my God, I get like 10 messages a day from, I don't know, gemstone dealers. Hi, sir, all this copy paste information. I mean, this is waste of everyone's time. So if you want to get someone's attention, it's probably not even direct messaging. Start commenting on that person's Instagram. Say you're a jewelry brand and you want to attract attention of a new potential customer. First of all, you do your research, see who that person would be, who you want to get attention of, and then start a meaningful conversation. If you can relate to some of their photos, leave a real interesting comment there so you can start this conversation. For me, it's the same. For example, if someone wants to get my attention, they leave a comment. If it's an emoji, I emoji back and I never even look at the profile. If that person leaves some comment which is actually deep and interesting and I can relate to, I always go and check that person's profile. So this is why it has to be personalized, authentic, meaningful, and this is how you'll get attention to that potential person. And don't just expect from one comment to spark interest of another person. You have to be active on the Instagram maybe for a couple of weeks before they actually start following you back. And it doesn't mean that once they press the follow button, you completely ignore them. So again, it's another type of job that you have to do on Instagram, is communicate with potential clients, potential audience. This is something I regularly do as well. So, and that's why I have a team of people who help me with Instagram, because one person can't do it all.
That's great. Thank you.
And another one, hold on, I had another one, now I forgot. So I was talking about don't be impersonal. Don't be completely spontaneous, because it's important to plan your content. Very often what happens is that when designers or brands, they post whatever, the feed doesn't look organized. It looks like a mishmash, like you don't know what you're doing, like you don't pay enough attention to your feed. Also, some days you wake up and you have no content, and then you need a few days to create to take the picture and put a caption, meaning that you're stalling your Instagram activity and that your engagement will drop. So this is the second one to bear in mind. And third one, when you work with a blogger, when you want to promote your account, don't think that once you pay this money, magic will happen. If your account is not ready for promotion, if it doesn't look polished and sleek and pretty, then you can't expect any good outcome. So in fact, this is something I started doing more of. Before I agree on promoting any brand, first I consult them on how they need to prepare for this promotion. Otherwise, they're going to say, oh, Katerina doesn't have good audience, when in fact the Instagram looks not the best presentable, no one wants to follow.
No,
You know?
down that road with you, so I know that you are.
There was one question here. Which was it? Which kind of jewelry people are more likely to buy during these times? And what kind of jewelry designer keeps in mind in terms of trends? I think if we're being realistic, it's two segments of jewelry which are still getting some traction. It's very, very high end. As I said, something exclusive and unique, and low end, something you can buy as a gift for occasions. So mid jewelry is, I think, in a difficult position right now. Yeah.
Bridal maybe still active.
Yeah, I think bridal will also be there because it's more like a necessity. In India, you're in a good position because jewelry is a part of culture, is a part of outfit, right? It's like, it's a must. I wish there was the same case for Europe, you know?
Yeah, that's once India is, we're allowed to kind of have events, but yeah.
Mm-mm. But I think you see the questions which we haven't answered yet. I would like everyone to send a direct message if there are some questions still that you have, because I'm always happy to answer those. You can send it on for jewelers, and yeah, this platform is going to grow and develop, and we'll share much more information. And in fact, some questions here gave us some ideas for the future posts, which is great. Oh, someone's asking, is it a good time to start a jewelry brand right now?
Yes.
Good question, because in fact, again, if it's something of a mass market type, then no. But if it's something unique and exclusive, it's not a bad idea. I know quite a few brands who actually in the past, they started during some economic crises, or, you know, there was another pandemic years ago during that time, and they're doing well. So again, if you have something original, then, you know, it doesn't depend on the virus. Yeah, it will do well. Shall I answer one more?
Yeah, please go ahead. I mean, we're happy to have you
give us a few creative ideas to reach, to spread awareness of a brand. Okay, well, as I explained, with creativity, it has to be photos of jewelry or videos of jewelry or gifts, you know, or any other regional way of presenting jewels and gems that will spark interest quite fast. It's not possible to say there is one certain type of post like this. For everyone, it's different, but you can analyze what works best for you in analytics. I always recommend to actually go back and see what works the best, so you can do, you can create content of similar type. So you can repeat this fireworks of likes and comments. I think it's hard to answer here. I'd rather show one of the posts which we'll do relatively soon on for jewelers will be related to jewelry accounts, which I think can be a good ones to get inspired from. So and there are quite a few creative posts, so I will share that on for jewelers. This is something visual, you know, which you have to see.
hard to explain sometimes.
Okay. And I guess you'll be saving this, right? You can upload it on the IGTV, because some people haven't watched from the beginning. So
yeah, we will be saving this and kind of placing it on the IG live. So yeah, that's great.
Let's see. How can we collaborate with other jewelry makers on our brands, and is it possible? I'm not sure there is well, yeah, I think you can, because there is different styles and types of jewelry. I think it's best to collaborate maybe with like jewelry boutiques or someone who is not a direct competitor, right? Or other types of industry. I don't know, jewelry can very much relate to fashion or to art, to accessories. I've seen.
More lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know, some campaigns which I've seen is creating scarves with jewelry prints, or even clothing, I don't know, iPhone covers, or lots of, you know, different ideas, because jewelry, as I said, it's a form of art, and it can be seen not just sparkling on a finger, but also I don't know, as a print on a t-shirt or something like this, you know, or high fashion, you know. Do I feel that for high jewelry, brick and mortar will always be essential, or selling online too? I think these have to go hand in hand. You know, it's not one is better than the other. They're very different. They're very different type of consumer. There is clients who will never buy online, you know, more mature clients. They probably prefer the traditional method of buying jewelry. Others, you know, they go online, the millennia, or some husbands who forgot to buy a present for their wife and they need to quickly do it, things like that. So I think both have to exist. And as I said, even right now, all the boutiques are back to business. And, you know, I'm just judging by, say, Plus Van Dom brands. Yes, they look quiet, but people who come there, they're the ones who actually come to buy something. So the clients still come through the door in much smaller quantities, but it doesn't mean that there is much less business, you know?
The conversion is high right now, basically.
Yeah.
People who really want to buy will come in.
So I think the bottom line here is right now, the best investment into marketing the brand, to let more people know that it exists. And in fact, if you look into even sponsored ads on Instagram, it's not that huge money. Every brand can afford it. You can invest $10, $20 and you can get relatively good results. And this is one of the ways to grow your Instagram as well. Personally, I also capitalize on this now a lot. I'm not a brand, but I also want to grow, and I have a lot of beautiful jewelry which I want to showcase. Yeah, so, and it works well.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. There's quite a few. From them. Thinking.
The best.
What do you recommend from the perspective of taking good photos and editing if one does not have that experience? Now, I haven't had experience in photography. I've learned it over time. So either you spend time into investing in your skills and you learn how to photograph and invest in a professional camera, which is a good time to do right now, since if you're locked down, you have time to do that. Or you work with the professional photographer. You know, I don't believe one person can do it all. I'm a good example. You have a team of people, because it's simply impossible. If you invest your time into learning photography when you're not a photographer, you are taking this time off your creativity or other vital aspects of your business. So it's always better to invest to get a better result. But in fact, if I may say, Prita has prepared a webinar which will go live in a few weeks' time, I believe. We'll announce it on For Jewelers, about how to take pictures of jewelry without special equipment, you know, with your iPhone, and maybe it's a good one to listen to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
That was great experience. Thank you. We had a good number of people watching. I'm very happy.
I told you, you're quite you have quite a following, you know, with our members. So it was awesome.
I'm very happy. Always
you.
Pleasure to share knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. Stay well, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you soon in Bombay.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.